Hi, welcome to episode 3 of The Comfy Red Couch. I'm your host Tracy, and today I actually do have a co-host that I think might stay here a little bit longer than my last week's co-host. This is Scout, and she's making her debut. Scout likes, I think I mentioned in my first episode, she likes to lie across the back of the couch. So today as I was preparing show notes, she was a bit whiny and wanted up, climbed up, and of course sat there. Now, Scout is a golden retriever, so this is what she's doing. She sits right behind me, so I get kind of a little bit squished out. So that's okay, because I do like to sit a little bit forward when I am doing the podcast. So you gonna join us, you sweetie? I guess she's going to join us. So today I would like to say welcome to everyone who's returning. Welcome to people who this is your first time seeing my podcast. As I said, my name is Tracy, and I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram, and this is my channel, The Comfy Red Couch. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy I hope you're going to enjoy what you're about to see. So today I want to talk a little bit about a project that is stirring up some excitement on the internet, and that I have the privilege of working on a little bit before the release. And I also got to work on it last year too. So I'm going to talk about Helen Stewart, or Curious Handmaids, the Shawl Society. And last year I did all of the test knits for, not test nuts, all of the test knits for the Shawl Society one, and there were 6 shawls, and I think we started in, I started in May, but the shawl releases began June, and so there was one per month from June till November. So and then November became a crazy month with Knit Vent as well. So, and all of the releases that Helen had been doing, which were numerous last November. So Helen, you kept me very, very busy, which is a good thing. So anyway, and when I don't have a test knit, I get a little bit stir crazy. So I really do enjoy it. So anyway, I'm going to share some of I've only kept 2 of the shawls. I gifted the other 4 from last year. And so I'm going to show you the 2 that I still have here, and I'll try and make sure I put in pictures of the other 4 that I did. So let's talk about the Shawl Society. So the first pattern is going to be released on May the 4th, so Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. And so that's exciting. It's coming up quickly. For people who haven't bought into the Shawl Society yet, there's an early bird price until May the 4th, until the first pattern's released. So it's a really great deal because you do get the 6 shawls, and if you know any of Helen's patterns, they're always lovely. They're very classic. I tend to give them as gifts to people because they are so universal. They're really great for, they kind of match the personalities of different people, which is probably why when I've gifted shawls, it's mainly been Helen shawls, especially Pebble Beach. I went through I had 4 Pebble Beaches that I don't even have my own Pebble Beach. I've got to do one day. So that's a fantastic shawl. But the Shawl Society ones are kind of fun as gifts as well, and you never know what you're going to get each month. So kind of something to look forward to, almost like present every month in your mailbox on Ravelry. That's always a good thing. So I'm going to talk about the first shawl. So the first shawl was Talisman, and I did my Talisman out of lace. There were 3 sizes. There was a small, medium, large, and the small and medium, it was recommended to use fingering weight, and then the large you could use either fingering weight or lace. And I have a lot of lace in my stash, and I have a lot of viola lace in my stash, and it's lovely to work with. And I decided that I was going to do my Talisman shawl out of a colorway called Prophecy. And so I did the shawl, and I actually gifted it to Emily of Viola Yarns. We met for a walk and some tea down in Toronto beaches last May, I think it was, and mid-May maybe, and so I was able to gift her, no, it couldn't have been, it must have been June, because the pattern wasn't released till June, so I guess we went for a walk early to mid-June, and it was a really lovely day, and I brought some spindles and we were spinning on the beach, so that was kind of a fun afternoon, beautiful sunny day. So I gifted Emily the talisman shawl made of her yarn Prophecy, and it's kind of interesting when I look at my Ravelry page, you know how you get the little hearts. I always love getting little hearts, but that's my second most loved shawl, and the first one is at this point Snowmelt. So I'm amazed that talisman is such a simple looking shawl. It's not difficult to do either, but it's got a real beauty to it, and just a very, and the Prophecy is I actually have, I'm going to show it a little bit later, but Prophecy is this sort of grayish blue color, and not this yarn, this is what I'm going to show later. This was used in another shawl society. Anyway, so that was just a really nice, beautiful design to do, and a lot of people seem to really like talisman. The second shawl is the Amulet shawl, and I actually still have this one because I'm not prepared to give it away at this point. So this is, I called it Happiness because it is made of red, and it was released in July, and ruby is my birthstone, and I used MADELINETOSH chart. Let's see if I've got this the right, I didn't have it the right way. So this is my Amulet shawl. It could have been beaded, but when I was doing this shawl, we were right at the very end of the school year, and we were about to leave for London on, our flight was leaving the 3rd of July, and I actually did not make the deadline on this one. Just timing was not great. If I hadn't gone to England, I probably would have, but so I was working on this furiously when I was in London trying to finish it, and I think I got it done a couple of days after the shawl was released, but and usually I'm really good about meeting my deadlines, but this one I think Helen definitely understood why I didn't on this one. So anyway, this was the July release, Amulet, and I've called it Happiness, and this is MADELINETOSH tart in their sock, and just a really nice, soft, a beautiful, beautiful shawl, and the colors are so rich. So I think this is going to be my Happiness, although I haven't worn it yet. We'll see. So the next one was the Asana shawl, and the Asana shawl I did in MADELINETOSH lace, and I used the colorway Flash Dance, and I did use beads on that one. And the funny thing about Asana, and probably why I didn't meet the deadline for my Amulet, was that I got the pattern for Asana first, and then Helen was going to Australia, and I think she just sort of, I'm not sure what, she switched them around, because Asana was supposed to be released, I believe, much later in there, but she ended up releasing it as the August one. So Asana was purple with really cool beads that were like a frosted blue on the outside and then like a purple lining inside. Really, really interesting. And I ended up giving that one, and I called that one At the End of the Spectrum, because it was purples, and on a rainbow, purple is at the end of the spectrum. So I ended up gifting that to a coworker who recently left, and she got a wonderful promotion, and that's what I gave her. And so I had her choose between two purple shawls, because purple was her favorite color, and she chose the Asana shawl, which I don't blame her. It was really, really beautiful. The next one, and I do have that here, is the QUILL shawl. And mine is called Double Eclipse. And this was the September Shawl Society shawl. And I used Viola MOOSESBURG in their DK weight. So I used 3 colors, and the blue and the light pink were both by Emily's ECLIPSE colorways, which means she makes them and she never makes them again, or she gets close to them. So, you know, there were a few ECLIPSE colorways, and so this bluey color here and this light pink were beautiful. So this is called Double Eclipse, because not only did I use the 2 Eclipse colorways, in September when this pattern was released, there was a double eclipse that happened in the world. So I thought it was sort of fitting. I try to find interesting names. And then the other colorway is called Pink Clay, and I'll put that at the top there because it comes across as brown, but it's sort of I guess it's a brownie pink. So so this was a lovely one, and again, I haven't figured out who whether I'll keep it or whether I'll gift this shawl, but it's still here with me, being kept safe, and I'm glad I had it to show today. And then we had the AURORAE shawl, and the AURORAE shawl, I called it Savannah Sunset, and that was because Helen had actually sent me the yarns a long time ago, but she wasn't sure whether she was going to have it in the Shawl Society, and so she sent me some yarn from the COPPERCORGI, which is based in Savannah. And the year before, we had driven down to Florida, and we stopped in Savannah on the way, and I went to a local yarn shop, as you know, we knitters like to do, and I came across the COPPERCORGI. And so I bought 1 skein of the COPPERCORGI, but I was sort of wishing I had bought azalea and crocus. I still kick myself for not getting those. So anyway, in my mail there was some COPPERCORGI in like a purple. It was called Wine Rose Grape was the colorway, and so it was just a lovely set of purples, and I will try and make sure I put a picture. And I had sort of fun with the box. I rolled them all up, and to keep them in order, I put the little Beanie Boos and popped them in the box, so when I had one out, I could fill in the space where it was, because otherwise I might get confused with the gradients. I ended up mailing that to Helen just before Christmas this year, so she got a shawl that she had designed but had been knit by somebody else. But it was kind of fun because that was also, she had said how much she liked the color that I had knit in, so I said, well, I'll send it to you, so I did. So she has a Shawl Society shawl that she designed but did not knit, so something nice for her collection. And I think way back in the fall I saw an Instagram photo, and she was out and about in London wearing it, so it was kind of nice to see. And then the final shawl was the Saunders shawl. And the Saunders shawl, there's a really nice YouTube video about how we're all connected, and I called my shawl Intertwined. And and this is where I'm going to pull out the prophecy. So I was, as I was writing my show notes, I realized that my first shawl of the Shawl Society, the Talisman shawl, and my last shawl both used the same color, Viola Prophecy. However, I used the lace with the first shawl, and I used the mohair lace with the last shawl. And it was intertwined with Cascade Eco Plus in, they're just numbered, a blue colorway, and I probably should have written the number down, but I didn't. It's on my Ravelry page. So what I did was I just knit the 2 double-stranded and made the Saunders shawl. And I ended up gifting that one to my coworker for Christmas time. So, and is there anything else I wanted to say about that one? No, it was just a very interesting triangular shawl, a little bit different than anything I've ever seen before or knit on, and it had really lovely tassels, so it's kind of fun doing the tassels in these 2 colorways. So, and that's the Shawl Society one. I am now working on the Shawl Society year 2. And I did show this yarn a couple of weeks ago, and I said it's a gift for my son's teacher, which it is. And I'm going to be using this lovely Eden Cottage lace in Black Magic Rose. And so I have 4 more rows to go and cast off. Yay! So I am doing the medium size. There's 2 sizes. So for size is recommended. Well, both sizes are recommended fingering weight, but I like to change it up sometimes. And I think it's really important to see what can be done with different shawls. And so and I will tell you that this one is knitting up beautifully in the lace weight. So if you've got quite a bit of lace weight and you want to get rid of it, it looks beautiful. I wouldn't go with the smaller size. I would definitely go with the larger size because this is pretty fine. And I am using beads. I showed these the other day, and these are the metallic iris purple. And just to I keep my beads in like a little one of the apple, I think this is an apple mouse, magic mouse, and so I can then just pop them onto a crochet hook. And today I'm actually going to talk about beading. And so what I basically do is I just pop my crochet hook in. I like these clover ones. They're nice and small. These are the small version. And I just put my, I don't know if it's focused, it's hard to tell. I just put my beads on. I can put 5 on at a time. I have a couple that are really, really tiny at the top. And then I just knit and bead as I go along. But when I first started beading, let me find a, I'm going to jump ahead to, because I can't show the other project, but I can show it on this one. So when I first started beading, I had a friend who, Karina, and Karina used to come to knit night at the Purple Pearl, and she would bring her beads and she'd pop beads on as she was going, and what she used was a beading wire, and I have 2 of them. This one, so it's just a small wire, and at the very end it's got some beads as a stopper, and it's a long wire, and she just made them. She sent me a few, which was really great, and then it's got a little bend in it, right there. And so what you do is you preload your wire with beads, and these are the metallic beads that I've used on my shawl. I just loaded them up before taping today. And so what you do is you just move a little bit closer. You've got your knitting, you pop your bead through the leg, and you close it up. Just got too many wires here. You close up the top, so you've got the 2 wires together, and then you slide 1 bead on, and then these are so sharp. You pop the stitch off, and then you put the bead on, and then you pop it back on your needle. Take the beading wire out, and then you knit the stitch. So now I have a sock that has a bead in it. I will take it out later. And you just knit the stitch just like you normally would. And if you're working a, so then you just knit the stitch, and then you've got the bead in your knitting. So, and then I'm just going to pop that off. But if you were doing like an S2KP or an SK2P, you just work the stitch and then do the reverse. You, on your right needle, pop it off, put the bead on, and then pop the bead on. So the beading wire I found was a really great way to bead for the first time, mainly because you've heard of maybe the dental floss. Sorry if I'm forward. Some people have used dental floss. I find dental floss is a little bit too flimsy. This has a little bit more structure to it, if you want to call it structure. And it's great because it is fantastic for traveling. So if you like to bead in the car, you keep it on this wire. You can sort of close it off. I just pop a bead on the end here like that, so it keeps the beads on. They're usually fairly secure. And what I do find though, with the beading wire, see I've got a little bit of a funny kink there. They do, as with wear, the beading wire part does break. And all you do is you just bend it or take a pair of scissors and cut. And so your beading wire, which maybe starts off this long, as you go along might be this long, or and you lose it as it goes. I like to save the beads at the end, and what I have is I purchased some wire, and I can make my own. Although I do find now I don't tend to use the beading wires as much. They're great for travel, and they're these little things that help secure the beads at the bottom, so you have a stopper at the bottom. So these are 3mm crimp covers and 2mm smooth crimps. So you put I believe you put the smooth crimp on the wire, and then you put the crimp cover over, and then you just use a pair of pliers and you squeeze them. And so you're just sort of, you're wrapping it around, putting some beads on, and then there's my cover at the, there's my cover at the top. Doesn't want to focus. And you've just wrapped this around the bottom. So you're just, in effect, bringing it like this, putting some beads in here, crimping it, so then you've got a stop so that you can put the beads on. So kind of a great way to have a portable, to do beads portably. I would not want to carry this around and do this in the car. Beads would be everywhere. They just would. So anyway, that's what I do for beading sometimes, especially portable, but now I do tend to use the crochet hook, and I just load on 5, do 5. I do knit continental, so I keep the beading hook in my right hand as I'm sort of knitting, and I'm able to just pop them off. Same thing, but it's a little, with the beading wire, you're maybe a little less likely to drop the stitch because you've got, you know, it's a great way to start if you're just starting to learn to bead. Anyway, so that is what I wanted to talk about with beading, and I want to move on to my segment of Material Girl. So last week I talked about, I caught the sewing bug, and I told the story of poor Gordy, and so this week I set 3 goals for myself, and that was to wash my material, which I did as soon as I pressed stop and went upstairs to do some editing. When I went to edit, I ended up just throwing it in the washing machine, and the people at Fabricland said that it was polyester, so I could throw it in the dryer, which is what I did. But when it came out of the dryer, it was all wrinkly, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've ruined my material. So my 3 goals: wash, iron, and take the sewing machine out of the box. So I washed last Sunday. On Thursday night, I got out the steam iron, and luckily it just made the material look back beautiful again. And then on Friday night, I believe it was, I finally took the sewing machine out of the box, and I have a lovely picture on Instagram of my room with the sewing machine. It just looks so beautiful. And I had to find an extension cord because my room upstairs only has 2 outlets, and one is on one side of the room, one is on the other side of the room, and my sewing machine and table are in the middle. So I have a cord running to it, and I set up a light because that's the problem with my room upstairs. It's very dark. So that will be a challenge. I did not get to cutting any of the material out. I did think about it, but I've been really busy working on the Shawl Society test knit, so that May the 4th comes along. There's a beautiful sample for everyone to see, and I know that everyone else that is doing the test knits is working hard on theirs as well. So excited to see that. So I did not get to sewing anything, but it's Easter weekend, and one thing that always happens to me on Easter weekend, and I'll talk about when I was, I guess, remember when I told you I got my pants license? So in grade 9 I got my pants license, and I was allowed to make this jumpsuit. So it was like a one-piece jumpsuit. It was this beautiful blue color, and I made it. It was beautiful, and I was going to wear it to church. We were going out to my grandparents on Easter Sunday, and we had just gotten a new station wagon, and it had one of those fold-up seats in the very, very back. So the dog and I, not this dog, sat at the very back and rode a couple of hours to my grandparents. And about halfway there, in my beautiful new outfit, the dog threw up on me. My beautiful new sewn outfit. And that seems to be a theme. So whenever I get an Easter outfit, something always happens to it. So after I had Isaac, I got a skirt and a top. Isaac threw up on me. Another year, my sister threw up on me. So I've just given up on Easter outfits. So I didn't even want to start this outfit on the weekend because I thought it's going to get thrown up on. So I'll wait till after the Easter weekend's over, cut it out, and then start working. Then maybe we'll get it done for the May long weekend. So that always happens to me. I don't know why. So anyway, that was my Material Girl segment. Not much to show, but I did have some progress. So I was really quite pleased with myself since I get very nervous with sewing. So hopefully goals for next week, all the pieces cut out, and maybe a little bit of sewing done, I'm hoping. So I'm excited to start. So I'm going to move on to It's a Sockness. I gave you a little tiny bit of a preview when I was doing beading. So last week I showed you this yarn, and this is Life in the Long Grass, and the colorway is Starboard, and Helen had gifted me this lovely yarn. And so I was going to make Emily's favorite socks. And so I've started, it's just a 3x1 rib, little tiny bit of 1x1 ribbing, and I'm just working away on those. And so I did come up with a name that I think is not too horrible, and I named them Iceberg Alley. And I look at this, and it's so North Atlantic with icebergs in it, it just screams that. So I think an appropriate name, and so those are my April socks. Today we'll be driving out to my parents, or my sister's actually, and so I'm hoping I might get a bit more knitting done on this, because I'm not bringing the Shawl Society. It's just too big to be toting around, and I need a little bit more concentration than I do with these. So It's a Sockness. Not a lot, but a little bit. And as I said, I work on these. I think I mentioned it in my first podcast. I get to work a little bit early, and I just do a few rounds just to get some mindfulness going. And if at lunchtime I have a chance, I work on it as well. And in the waiting room when I'm doing allergy shots. So that's what I got done on a short 4-day week. I haven't touched it at all this weekend, much to my chagrin, but I will likely this afternoon. So that is It's a Sockness. And now I want to talk about brown paper packages. And I just realized I forgot something upstairs, so I want to run up and get it. Okay, I'm back from my run up to the 3rd floor. I had forgotten something that I definitely wanted to show you. I talked last week about our mailman. Something was off. I had ordered a bunch of things, and they just weren't showing up. And so I knew that that wasn't normal for him. It wasn't normal for Canada Post because they're usually really fast. And so on Monday, when someone showed up with a package for me, I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, our previous mailman had bid for another route, so he's moved on to another route, and they're in the process, I guess, of finding a more senior person to bid for our route." So we'll be getting, I guess, a new mailman, and hopefully things will get a little bit more consistent. So whereas last week it was total famine, this week was total feast, and starting to feel a little bit gluttonous from all of the yarn I've been purchasing. I did make a purchase that I'm kind of excited about, and that's because, and I don't think I've shown this shawl. This is my favorite shawl. This is my 100 Acre Wood shawl, and it is Tosh Merino Light, and the grayish brown is Kitten, and the pink is London Cosmopolitan, which is a special colorway from Loop London. And I love this shawl, and I love that London Cosmopolitan color. So I had decided that when they got it back in stock, I wanted to buy a sweater's quantity because I'd like to make a sweater out of it. So it got back in stock a few weeks ago. Sorry for anybody who wants any more. I cleared them out. I guess right after Edinburgh, they must have had a shipment so that they could take them to Edinburgh. I don't know. Anyway, so I bought some Madelinetosh Merino Light in the London Cosmopolitan. This color is beautiful, and the Tosh Merino Light is one of my favorite yarns to work with. It's just so versatile. It smells a bit like vinegar sometimes, but I do love these colors, and this color in particular knits up just beautifully. Love it. Another thing that came in the mail this week, and this is kind of exciting, and I'm going to actually be using it to cast on the small size of the Shawl Society May pattern that I don't know the name yet. If I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you probably anyway. But I'm going to do the small size, which is supposed to be in fingering weight, and I am going to be using my VOOLENVINE yarns in the Angry Orchard. So I'm looking forward to casting that on as soon as I bind off my lace weight version. So I'll have two versions, a small and a medium, so that people can see what the two look like. So I'm excited to get this one. So this is Angry Orchard on the FOOTSIE base. So it's an 80/20 superwash blue-faced Leicester and nylon 400 yards, so 365 meters and 100 grams. So there's some really fun colors in here. I really like this little bit of speckle in here. Now, shopping for VOOLENVINE yarns is like nothing I have ever experienced. I mean, I've been cartjacked, but trying to get this, I was cartjacked 4 times, and so at the end it was just FOOTSIE base, grab it, and I was able to get one. But it was a very stressful experience, I'll have to say, but worth it, I think. So anyway, this arrived in the mail earlier this week, and this will be knit up in the next little bit. So I'm hoping probably to wind it up tomorrow once I've got my other one off the needles. Another thing that I had been keeping my eye on, I've been wanting Wool Barn yarn for about a year, and I just never was able to coordinate a time that I was able to meet an update. So I had a couple of opportunities, like when it rains it pours, and so I purchased a few things. So I'm only going to show you a couple. So this is Mohair sock, and this is Pretty in Pink and Faded Petal. And I also got rose gold. I love rose gold, and I really, as you can see, I'm wearing a rose gold ring, and I just really love this colorway. So I was able to get these all on Mohair sock. Love the feel. They're squishy. They got a little bit of bloom to them. They have beautiful little speckles, and so those are 3 things that I ordered. And I also got some of their Silky singles. Oh, I probably should have read, sorry. For the Mohair sock, it is a 4-ply sock fingering weight yarn. 20% Kid Mohair, 55% Superwash Merino, and 25% nylon. And that's 100 grams for 400 meters. So beautiful yarns, just lovely texture to it, a lovely feel to it, soft, soft, soft. And I'm not sure what I'm going to knit. I think I might combine the two. These two look beautiful together, so I may do something where it's a combined thing. The next thing I have from the Wool Barn is their Silky Singles, and this is Equinox. And Silky Singles are a single ply, 70% superwash merino, 30% silk, can't do my math now, and 100 grams for 400 meters. So this one is this beautiful bluish color, and the other one I got is and this was Equinox. This is Hazel, so same yarn, and I am so in love with these two colors together. The Hazel on its own is lovely, the Equinox on its own is lovely, but together they are scrumptious and beautiful and lovely and sigh. So that's what came in the mailbox this week from Wool Barn. And I have a couple more things I want to show you. So last week I talked about Sarah and Cauldron of Color, and that she had just opened up an Etsy shop, and so she's got some fun colorways, and I talked about Invictis, which was one that I had ordered. And now that you can see it, you can see why I just couldn't resist this beautiful tealy blue, greeny blue with that shot of purpley magenta. Just lovely, amazingly lovely. And this is a 75% merino, 25% nylon, and colorway Invictis. And so love, love, love. And this is just too cute. Look at the little, there's a little witch on it. It's so cute. And it won't focus. I don't know why. Whoops. Oh, there we go. So it's got a cute little witch on it, and so nice. And so I was talking to Sarah, I guess after the podcast last week, and she's a little bit surprised that I had mentioned her, but as I said, we've been talking. She loved the Tarte AMULET shawl, so I enabled her to buy some of the TOSH yarn. So, and these colors enabled me, Sarah. But one thing that was kind of a lovely surprise that came in the package, because I ordered this a couple of weeks back, was Sarah sent me, so this one's mine, and she sent me a second one to do as a congratulations for starting the podcast, because I had said that I would be starting it now. I think this one is Blue-Faced Leicester, but it's such, I imagine it's also Invictis, and it has the cute little witch on it too. And I've decided that I'm going to use this one as a giveaway at some point. So this was my first surprise package in the mail, and I want to share the wealth of Sarah's Cauldron of Colors yarn. So I haven't figured out how I'm going to do a giveaway yet, but this is what I'm going to use as my very first giveaway because it's very special, and I've got mine here. So someone will have an almost twinsy, because I think, as I said, this is merino, this one's Blue-Faced Leicester, I believe. So anyway, pretty, fun, shiny, happy people. So now, on the same day that I got the Invictis in the mail, and the nice extra bonus, oh, and there was some tea in there too, and some chocolate. I hate the chocolate. Strawberry one was my favorite. I also got a super, super special package, and I just need to grab this little bag that came with it. When the Apple Blossom sock kits were released, I said, oh, I want one, because these cute little, oops, got it the wrong way. These cute little bags went with the Apple Blossom socks, the sock kit. And I had pre-purchased some yarn. I had pre-ordered it because I did know that the colorway was going to come out. So Jane was so kind, and when she was dyeing a bunch, put one in the post with another with the other yarn that I'd ordered. I showed that, I think, on my first episode. So, but then I didn't buy the kit because, of course, I had already bought the yarn, but I didn't get the bag. So Helen said, I'll send you a bag. She says, it's not that exciting, but it is, because it's got this cute little hedgie on it. So that was what came in the mail. But inside that bag was something that had me nearly lose my head. And that was Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day Party by Norah Jones and Norah Jones, not Norah Jones, Norah George. Sorry, Tracy. Anyway, so I lost my head. See, I lost my head over the Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day Party, which was Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club Round 2, and it's the Hogwarts social calendar. So, is that not enough to make anybody lose their head over and their mind and everything else? So, lovely little shots of yellow and pink and purples in there. And I know when I opened up the Molly Weasley, there was amazingness inside, and I have a feeling that in every skein of Norah George, there's amazingness inside. So I was just so thrilled to get this. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Helen. This was such a surprise, and just so kind, and really special, especially since it's a limited edition sort of special colorway, the Harry Potter one. So yay. Today I actually gave Isaac, so this is my 15-year-old, a Harry Potter tie. He has 3 of the 4, and now today he has all 4. So today he got the Hufflepuff necktie. He already had the other 3, and he's sort of been slowly getting them. So that was so today's a really fun Harry Potter day, and I can't wait to see when he gets home. They've all gone to church. I stayed home to record, and anyway, he'll be probably wearing his beautiful necktie, but not as nice as my yarn. Anyway, so that's what I have here. So those are all my acquisitions, all my little brown paper packages, and I'm ready to start knitting. Again, the time thing though. So in the meantime, I shall drink my tea out of my favorite mine cup. I have several favorite mugs. This is one of them. And I like this one, because it's a little bit smaller. I love the rounded bit at the top. I did talk about I'm trying to cut back on my caffeine, but because we're doing the drive out to my sister's, about an hour away, I will be stopping to get my favorite beverage from Tim Hortons, and that is a large black steep tea. So I can only have a small tea now because I'm going to have a really big tea, and their steep tea is, I don't know what they put in it, but lots of caffeine. And so I will be getting one of those on my way out to the port. And in the meantime, I'll drink my very cooling off tea, because that's always the way I drink it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and that you will come back again next week when I record and upload. And thanks for joining me today. Bye! Who needs an Easter basket full of eggs when you can have a basket full of beautiful yarn? Nice! Who needs chocolate? Not me, although I do like it.